Hi, YouTube. Welcome to TXC Tells All. Now, let's talk about what paid leave is available if you need to take off work for COVID-19 or coronavirus related issues. There is a law that relatively recently came out that provides some paid leave. It's a little complicated and has a lot of moving parts, so I'm going to use a storyline to explain each part of it and what's available to you if you find yourself in a circumstance where you need leave for a coronavirus related issue, but you want to make sure that you can get paid if that option is available. Let's break it down. For those of you that don't know, I practice employment law, and this question has come up a lot in the past few months for a lot of my clients and potential clients. So I think this video will be really informative. Make sure you watch till the end so you can find out all the information, and hopefully you won't need it, but if you do, you know what's there and you know your rights. Stay tuned. Okay, so don't laugh at my cartoon narration, but I really thought this was the best way that I could break down the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which is the law that explains what paid leave is available for COVID-19 related issues for certain employees. So let's meet Vanessa. Vanessa works for Zan Electronics. She's an employee there, and Zan Electronics has 100 employees. So as a working woman caring for her family, Vanessa needs to keep her job, but she is worried about what happens if she gets COVID-19 or she has an issue related to COVID-19 and she needs to take leave. Will she get paid? Or what if Vanessa's 2 kids get sick with COVID and she needs to take leave to take care of them? Will she get paid for that time off? Or let's think about another scenario. What if Vanessa needs to stay home to take care of her kids because schools are still closed? There are some options available for Vanessa under what's called the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. So let's talk about what Vanessa's options are. Can she take leave and get paid? Well, the good news is yes, she can under certain circumstances. So let's talk about some of those situations. Here you have situation 1 where Vanessa is quarantined by a federal, state, or local government order, or a healthcare provider has told her that she needs to be quarantined. And then the second situation is Vanessa herself is experiencing COVID-19 symptoms and she's seeking a medical diagnosis. Under these 2 situations, would she get paid leave? And the answer is yes. For situations 1 and 2, so she either is experiencing COVID-19 symptoms herself or she's quarantined, she could get up to 2 weeks, and that's 80 hours of paid leave at her regular rate of pay. So, that is an option that's available. There is some paid leave available for those 2 situations. So now let's talk about 2 more situations where Vanessa may be able to get paid leave. So situations 3 and 4, situation 3 would be Vanessa is caring for someone else who is quarantined. Or situation 4, Vanessa is caring for her children whose schools are closed because of COVID-19 related issues. In these 2 situations, she would have some paid leave available. But for situations 3 and 4, so she is caring for someone who is quarantined or she's caring for her kids because school is closed, she gets 2 weeks up to 80 hours of paid sick leave, but only at 2/3 her regular rate of pay. And then for situation 4, which was that schools are closed and she's caring for her kids, she can get even an additional 10 weeks of paid leave if she's worked at Zan Electronics 30 days or more. So she can get that additional 10 weeks, but it's still only at 2/3 her regular rate of pay. So as is the case, unfortunately, with many federal laws, there are always exceptions and exemptions, and the Families First Coronavirus Response Act is the same. There are some exceptions, and I did want to highlight a few of them for you. First of all, the FFCRA applies to private employers with 500 or less employees. But there is one caveat with that. If you work for a smaller business with 50 or less employees, they may be able to claim an exception or an exemption from having to pay the paid leave that we talked about in the situations with Vanessa. They can claim that if doing so would be too much of a substantial burden on their business, they will not be obligated to pay the paid leave that we talked about. So if you do work for an employer with 50 employees or less, that doesn't mean that they definitely won't honor paying the paid leave in the circumstances we described, but they could assert an exemption and not be illegal and them not have to pay under the FFCRA as other businesses with 50 or more employees may have to. Another important thing to note is the Vanessa scenario that we looked at. We were considering Vanessa as a full-time employee working at least 40 hours a week. If you are a part-time employee, the situations that we talked about under the FFCRA can still apply to you, but it would just be in the amount of hours that you work per week. So Vanessa was eligible for up to 80 hours, 2 weeks. If you work, for example, 20 hours per week as a part-time employee, you would be eligible for 20 hours per week up to 2 weeks, so a total of 40 hours per week if that was the scenario. So just keep that in mind. The Department of Labor website does have some really, really good information. If you want to read more into this, I would suggest going to their website. I will put a link in the description box for the Department of Labor's website, the portion of it that talks about the Family First Coronavirus Response Act and the paid leave that's available. I hope this video was informative and helpful. I know these are tough times, and especially parents with schools opening up soon are trying to figure out what leave is available to them and if they can get paid. So I hope this information provided you with some of that knowledge. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the description box below. I'd be happy to answer them. Also, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. We post new videos every single Sunday on TXC Tells All, so keep checking us out. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I'll see you next time.